kink shame. I kinku.
Hello, welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here. Cirrus over there.
Hi.
How's things? God, you're loud.
Oh, you don't have glasses on. What the fuck? Who are you?
Oh, fuck off. I don't know where my glasses are.
I don't know where you are.
Okay, fine, entertain the guests while I go find my glasses, okay?
Okay.
Fuck you.
I will do that. I'd rather you not.
And there's... No, you're okay with me not wearing glasses?
That's not what I say. Fuck it. Whatever. You're here without glasses. You can see, but you lack vision.
Yeah. I know y'all think I look weird without glasses, but that's fine.
CL says, who's this handsome imposter? Pompon says, Cirrus can be trusted. Yes, trust me with your entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the hydrate, Conton83. Bit of housekeeping. If I start drinking and making the gulping sound directly into the microphone like I was doing last week and didn't notice until I was reviewing the videos, y'all can feel free to yell at me in the chat, because that shit's disgusting.
That?
Yeah, that. So, and like I review the videos before they go up, and every time someone redeemed a hydrate, I was like directly into the microphone. It's like, nope, we don't need to do that. Anyway, someone redeemed a hat. That would be, I think that's Sakura. Yeah, Sakura Nan.
So it says Cirrus sucking redacted live on air.
Yeah, I realized what gesture I was doing as I was in the middle of it. And I debated whether or not to do the choking noise, but I decided not to because that's a gross noise.
As I was in the middle of my routine of filleting, I was suddenly reminded that I was in fact filleting. Logan, God fucking damn it. Ugh. There you go. You got your thing. Bonbon says, let a girl have a hobby.
Yeah. So I know you probably heard that Dolly Parton has passed.
And Tim Curry.
That's the other one I was going to bring up, because Tim Curry I just found out about before going live.
Yep. And I feel more for the Tim Curry one, because I recognize Dolly Parton was a phenomenal person, but I like I said last stream, I have no personal I've never had any personal investment in her. Tim Curry, on the other hand, I did. Like, that one, actually, I felt something.
Yeah, that one's sad. But he's
not been doing well for a long time.
He was in a lot of pain. So, like, it's not surprising, and maybe it's better for him. But it's still sad that we're losing all these good people that everybody likes instead of, It's that meme of death at the claw machine. You're like, God damn it, there's got to be a Trump in here somewhere.
The one that keeps on being said in my chat is, God damn it, you keep taking the wrong 80-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is sad, but I do not have any stuff to. I didn't pull any news items specifically for that. There's a couple tweets that are regarding Dolly. Death aims like a stormtrooper, says Anselin. Indeed.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. If you ever needed proof there wasn't a god, the fact that Donald Trump outlived Dolly Parton is fucking it.
Yeah. So the secret to immortality is being evil, apparently. I mean, if you've seen literally any fantasy anything, yeah, actually. Generally speaking,
yeah.
That's what a lich is.
Yup.
Like, liches are notoriously phenomenally evil.
So I went to BajaCon last weekend.
Yeah? How was that?
It was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I got to hang out with Forrest Valkai and Erica of Gutsick Gibbon, and Trevor of Believe It or Not is kind of like my security blanket. Like, I don't know any of these people. Trevor, you hang out with me. So. Well,
I'm glad you were able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ever going to go to one.
A BajaCon specifically? or
Yeah.
a conference in general?
Oh, I've gone to conferences. I've spoken
I
at
know
them,
you have.
but I don't know if I would go to BajaCon specifically just because I don't want to start a fight.
Who's there that you'd be fighting with?
Uh, I mean, it's been long enough. I'll just say it. Matt Dillahunty.
Oh, I think he only went to one.
Oh, well, then I might go. Like I actively do not want to start shit because I think he still does a ton of good. So
Yeah,
I don't
like
want to be in spaces where he is because that will invariably start shit.
okay, well, I mean, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I haven't. Why am I not getting the notifications through my headphones? Twitch alerts. Let's like that. Someone just free subscribed for a month. Gaming Landers. Nope, that's a follow. Gaming Landers is a subscribe. So yeah, Gaming Landers followed and subscribed. Thank you, Gaming Landers.
Fennec says, "Wait, did I miss the beef between you and Matt?" I'll give you the short version of it. And again, this is not a thing to throw at Matt. I still think he does a fuck ton of good. But it was when Matt had his falling out with Jake by fighting with Jake and Sarah because Jake and Sarah were both pointing out the things the Republican Party was doing that were listed in Project 2025. And Matt kept on telling them that they were delusional. And then later on, Matt agreed with everything that they were saying a year later. But he made a video saying that the only reason that I made a video response to his bullshit was because I wanted clout. So I made it a point not to say his name in any video for the next year to go, no, I didn't do it for clout. I did it because you're a person I respect and I wanted to call you out. That's why I did that. But he absolutely fucking hates me now. I tried contacting him when he was having a bad day because he never removed me from Facebook, and I got cussed the fuck out. So he actively despises me, and that is okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I vaguely remember that. I am just going to say, both Matt Dillahunty and I guess both Jake and Sarah, they all three of them have very very strong personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So like
They do.
I am not surprised that they got into an argument that blew up a bit.
Yeah, it was a thing that was inevitably going to happen when there was a divide, and I had opinions on it, and I came out on the side that wasn't his.
Okay.
It's
Well,
just what it is.
we don't need to continue this is getting dangerously close to YouTube drama.
Correct. And that's the thing that I've been wanting to avoid with this the entire time.
The only YouTube drama I'm into is fuck J.K. Rowling drama.
Yep.
We do have some of that coming up in the tweets tonight.
Good. It's just one of those things. It is not that important, and I would rather him continue doing good and continue arguing for rationality and doing that.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, I went to BajaCon. A lot of fun. Matt Dillahunty was not there. But yeah, no, lots of people were there. The lineup's still on the website. And I did a video where I interviewed a bunch of them, asked them questions about their talks. You can kind of... They are not in the video in the order in which I did them, but if you pay attention to which ones I was actually good at, you can kind of figure out what order I did them in. Because, Andrew Seidel was the first one I interviewed, and I was dog shit with him. And somehow the last one, I got Trevor as well. But he wasn't a speaker. He was just at the conference. And so I interviewed him as well. And I'm watching it back, I could have sworn I actually talked to him about more stuff, but the whole interview was like, who's your favorite speaker? And then he gave a little bit on why he liked everybody equally. And then it was like, okay, bye. And that was it. I'm like, I didn't ask him for his fucking channel, what he talks about, nothing. I'm such a fucking idiot when it comes to that sort of thing. But yeah, I did good on some of them.
I mean, we can't all be perfect. It is what it is.
I debated just cutting that section out because it's just we're done the conference. What'd you like best? Bye. That's nothing. That's a nothing burger. But I left it in. Just I don't know. I don't know how to leave things on the cutting room floor. And I also would
You
feel,
you don't know
I'd
how to kill
feel,
your darlings.
well, so it's not about my darlings in this case. It's more about like I interviewed him. I will feel bad if he sees this video and the interview that I did with him is not in it. So I feel like I owe it to him to include it.
Ah, I know that feeling. I am familiar.
Yeah. But yeah, no, lots of fun. Learned from No Illusions that apparently I never made this connection before, but apparently the entire Christian cinema industry that we know today is Mel
Hmm.
Gibson's fault.
What?
Because before Mel Gibson came along and made Passion of the Christ, every single Christian movie was just like whatever some church could do on whatever they could fundraise from their congregants.
Oh my fucking god.
And then Mel Gibson made a block. I mean, the Left Behind series were a little bit more than that, but they not by much.
They never managed to do anything movie wise that was phenomenal though.
Yeah, and their budgets were still tiny. They were big for Christian movies at the time. But then Mel Gibson was the one that came, and Passion of the Christ made like several thousand% return on investment. And that it was like immediately after that that all the big movie studios spun up Christian sub studios. And yeah, now we have Andy Serkis directing Christian movies.
Yay.
That's probably the worst part about Christian cinema is seeing actors that like they say never meet your heroes, and I largely
Yeah.
agree with that because there's so many times I've learned something about a celebrity that I kind of liked and it's like, oh, that person's shit, now I can't enjoy their stuff anymore. The same thing, like anytime I see someone mainstream that I like in a Christian movie, it's like, oh, god damn it. It's like Andy Serkis has done a few. Sean Astin has done a bunch. To Sean Astin's credit, he always seems to be phoning it in, and from what I've heard, he is like just a genuinely nice person who just happens to be Christian. Not so
Mhm.
much that he is like on board with all of the hardcore messages that are in the movies that he's in. But
On on the one hand, you do get to pick the gigs you do. On the other
yeah,
hand, that's
it's like
only
he was
kind of true,
yeah, but he
actually.
was fucking Samwise Gamgee. He can turn down a few roles.
Maybe.
I mean,
Oh
I
well.
gotta. I'm still not getting. Oh, that's a separate thing. Why is everything different? What's that? That's a super chat. Olivia Williams. Well, we had some before the Gospel according to St. Matthew, the Ten Commandments, the Last Temptation of Christ. So that was another thing. Most of those are like golden age of cinema.
Most of those aren't actually Christian movies so much as they are movies about the Christian mythos.
Yeah, and those are also older ones. So during the Hays Code era, what ended up happening was a lot of Christian movies were made in the Hays Code era, but the reason for that is because the Christian movies were the only ones that could get around the Hays Code and dress their women all sexy. Because they have to, like, the Hays Code was very much a how to make your movie Christian friendly code. And so if anyone questioned it, would be like, okay, well, we're telling this Bible story, and biblically she was a harlot, so she got dressed like a harlot.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah, so like that's originally Christian cinema was what you didn't take the kids to because those are the ones with the scandalously clad women.
I remember when my school told us that we were not allowed to watch The Prince of Egypt
I can see that.
because and as somebody who got that movie damn near day one that it went on VHS and watched it with my mom and was like, I was Christian at the time, so I was like, oh my God, we have to get a sequel, right? It ended with the Red Sea. That means there's so much more they got to talk about. And, obviously that didn't fucking happen because I didn't realize that it's not a Christian movie. It's a movie about Christian mythos, and there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Pensacola Christian Academy also realized there was a difference, but now I want to give you the weird bit of juxtaposition for me. The church I went to was not St. John's because St. John's was PCA's church. The
Mm-hmm.
church I went to was Mount Calvary in Milton. And Mount Calvary, during one of our Sunday schools, it was either Sunday school or Awana, one of the two, we watched Prince of Egypt. So I was getting mixed messaging from every Christian source I possibly could have at the time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Christians can hardly agree on anything. Like they can't even agree on how many books are in the fucking Bible. So of course they're not going to agree on which movies are okay to watch.
Yeah, Jessica says it sucks there wasn't a sequel. I would be honest, if they had done a sequel to Prince of Egypt showing the rest of the story of Moses leading up to like Mount Zion and everything, like I think it'd be fine, but also there's this funny part of me that wants to go, no, 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 you don't understand. You watch Prince of Egypt and then you watch the Ten Commandments, the sequel to Prince of Egypt.
Okay, should we do some news? Actually, no. Before we,
Sandra says, I hate that I know every location Cirrus is mentioning. Then you grew up in Pensacola. That's all that means if you know all those locations.
okay, well, before we get into the news, I have just one video clip that I want to show you that my partner shared with me that is absolutely delightful. It's from The Good Liars, so it's one of the man on the street interviews with a Trump supporter.
No gun-free zones.
Okay, so more guns.
Yep. Can't fight fire with water. You gotta fight fire with fire.
Can't fight
You can't
fire with
fight
water.
fire with water?
Yeah. Depends on what's in the fire.
They specifically do fight fire with water.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Can't fight fire with water. Gotta fight fire with fire.
But that's not how any of this works. Not even a little bit of it.
I know he said it because he's an idiot, but he there was a moment in the video where it clicked in his brain that like, oh shit, I've made an idiot of myself, and you can kind of see
and
it.
then he started trying to walk away.
Well, but he started trying to justify it first, where he's like, well, depends what's on the fire, and it's like, yeah, you know what? There are certain types of fire that you do not fight with water, like an electrical fire. Or a white phosphorus fire, although I don't know that that's technically a fire, whatever. But, like, yeah, no, there are some things that water will make a fire worse for. Or a Tesla fire. No, that one you do fight with wire.
You do put water on a Tesla fire.
So the thing about lithium battery, thank you for resubscribing, Fire Panda VT. So the thing about fighting a lithium battery fire is that lithium is self-oxidizing. So like as it burns, it gets its own oxygen or whatever. So the only way to really quench the fire is to make it cold. Your other option is to just let it burn itself out. And so that's why there are special blankets for firemen that you can put over an EV that's burning, and it'll just kind of let it, like it'll be able to go through its oxidizer or whatever, and then it'll just eventually stop. But like you just got to leave it alone. The other option is to just stand there with the hose on it for days, using up a lot of water. Yeah.
And just hope for the best.
Mark Fernkoff is saying grease fire. Yeah. Depends on the site, because I mean, like, if it starts as a grease fire and then the rest of your house is on fire, you still pour water on that. But like, if there's just grease burning in the pan, no, absolutely do not pour water on that. Correct thing to do is put the lid on the pan and walk away.
You can also put salt on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I had not heard that before, but that does make intuitive sense to me now that you've said it.
That's the thing that we were always taught. Like when you have a fire there, if you don't have a fire extinguisher, you take salt and you just throw it all over the fire.
Not to be confused with flour. Do not use flour. Absolutely
do not use flour. No. No.
Just saying, like, white powdery substance. We should probably clarify not to use the one that will explode.
So, fun thing. There is a self-defense mechanism where you, and I don't know how effective this actually is, but there's a self-defense mechanism where you make a grenade, basically, that fires a hype train, apparently. That peppers everything with flour so that it's like ambient in the air, so that if somebody were to fire a gun, per se, everything gets lit on fire at the same time. Now, how effective that actually is, I don't fucking know. But
that's one of those things that it has a very limited range of use. Like, if you throw the
Well-
powder up and then he fires the weapon, like, as you're throwing it, then yes, it'll blow up, but it'll also blow up in your face. And then if he doesn't do it right the second you're throwing the thing, then it just all, like, falls, and then he shoots you and it doesn't explode. Thank you for the hydrate, Bree Draganis, and thank you for the 100 or 1,000 bits, Gaming Landers, and thank you for the 25 bits, Bree Draganis.
Can't fight fire with water.
Can't fight fire with water. Gotta fight fire with fire. But that's okay. That's the other thing about that, because like he clearly he recognized that he said a dumb thing, and he was like, "Well, it depends what's in the fire." Because yes, that is accurate. There are some fires that you don't put water on, but then that ruins the fighting fire with like. You don't pour fire on an electrical fire to fight it. You don't pour fire on a grease fire to fight it.
Axo says the data centers need that water. You're right, actually. Hold on. No, you're onto something, Axo.
Oh.
The data centers need all the water. No, you're right.
Thank you for the other 1,000 bits, Gaming Landers.
What if we gave the data centers so much water
and
that they all fucking shorted out and flooded?
I am good with that. Temporal Wizard 42 subscribed. Tasha cheered 100 bits, said, "I'm fighting fire with bits, gay bits," along with a pride flag.
Oh,
there have been messages with these bits. Gaming Lander says, "Hey, still need more to level up," and yay, hype train. Bree DeGranis for another 20 says, "Yay."
Oh.
Yeah, we're not getting to the news until this is over.
Also, I want to inform you that because I have to look up trans things a lot for my job, Facebook has decided two things. One, to show me lots of trans positive content. And also at the same time, because I look up a bunch of conservative content for what I do, it's also giving me a bunch of MAGA content at the same time, and it's really weird.
That is a confusing algorithm, yeah.
So, I will say this. I have now been introduced to the term for people who are MTF transition, but were growers and not showers. They are part of the itty bitty clitty committee.
I love it.
And I had not heard that before.
Oh, that's amazing.
I was like, okay, you know what? That tracks.
All right. Okay. Looks like my hype train has calmed down. Thank you for all that, guys. Appreciate it.
Guys, thank you for sending money to Rhino. He deserves money. Give him money. This is not me trying to push you in any way, shape, or form. This is just me saying potentially at gunpoint, give him money.
Give me money or I set a data center to your area. Oh, lordy. Okay, well, you ready to be depressed?
Always.
First story. Judge to baby. File an asylum application.
What?
Oh, we're on a hype train level 2.
Why?
Thank
why
you.
Would
thank you for that. That was bad timing.
Why would a
jump point 1?
Why
thank
would
you.
a baby? What?
A 1-year-old baby appeared in immigration court without legal representation this week in Arizona and received an instruction: file an asylum application before the next hearing or face deportation.
What? Did the judge? Hold on. Who was the fucking judge? Did they not? How did they?
Oh, thank you for the 5 community subs, Gaming Landers.
There is so much about that statement that confuses me and makes me angry.
Yeah, very much so.
Sakura says somebody who shouldn't be a judge. I have harsher words.
Yes, I agree, but I feel like I feel like the judge should just be like, I am moving for continuance until there's some representation here. But I feel like
the baby not have representation? That's like a thing that's supposed to be a constitutional guarantee.
Okay, so there was, okay, first off, it's a constitutional guarantee, so it doesn't apply to foreigners. They don't have the same rights under the
Oh.
Constitution, so they are not guaranteed representation. However, the government had a contract with an agency that was supposed to be representing unaccompanied minors. So, like, at the very, like, you might be shit to the asylum seekers, but, like, if you get a child in the system, children don't know their rights. They don't know how to ask for a lawyer. Just give the kid a fucking lawyer. That was the whole thing. They had a contract with an organization that was doing that. They canceled the contract, the Trump administration. And the organization
Because we got to get rid of the illegal babies, I guess.
Yeah. Do you know? Okay, they for a while there was no contract. They got sued because that's just unconscionable. And
Robert Adset pointed out, by the way, that's false. Non-citizens have the same rights as citizens under the Constitution. The Constitution specifically says people,
okay,
not citizens. That's actually the word that's been used in court
I'm
to
not.
argue.
I ain't no law talking guy. So
I ain't no
sure,
law
I was
talking
wrong
guy.
on that. Maybe I'm just thinking because there are a lot of Canadians that people make fun of because they'll be like, I'm not saying anything because I got my Fifth Amendment rights. And it's like, no, you're in Canada. That doesn't apply. We have a similar thing in Canada, but it's not the Fifth Amendment. So you need to learn what the fuck your shit is. I don't know which one it is. It's in the Bill of Rights, but I don't know which one it is. But yeah, so whatever happened, they lapsed with, like, they canceled the contract. They didn't sign a new one. After a while, they were sued. There was an injunction. They had to sign new contracts or whatever, instead of just going with the agency that was already doing it, which, by the way, that agency continued representing people pro bono in the interim.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the shitstorm that this is, quite a few kids fell through the cracks. So they gave a contract to the two new organizations. One of them is the USCRI, I think, and the other one is so the two new contracts were, one was to the USCRI, the other one was to an organization called Our Rescue. Does that sound familiar to you, Cyrus?
Our Rescue?
Yes.
No, it doesn't, actually.
That is the anti-human trafficking organization founded by sex pest Tim Ballard.
Oh.
So, not only do they not actually prevent sex trafficking, in fact, there is some good reason to think that they increase demand for trafficked children with the methods that they use. So, like, it is likely that there have been children that were specifically trafficked to meet the demand that they were creating. So not only are they bad at their main thing that they're supposed to be doing, but they also have zero experience doing legal representation for unaccompanied minors. So they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And
Could you more? Thank you for giving me your points for an owl.
And that was probably on purpose because they don't want these kids to be represented. So I read through the filing briefly. There are a number of cases that they highlight, but the baby one is the most egregious. So there was so in the baby one, there was an attorney from the USCRI present, but the attorney quote, the attorney did not speak up, let alone suggest that it is facially absurd to ask an unrepresented baby to do anything, despite knowing the baby would be ordered deported if unable to file a completed application by the next hearing. So they weren't represented, but the organization that was supposed to be representing them had an attorney present who just sat there silently as the judge was like, "Hey, baby, fill out your paperwork."
I just have to ask, the judge that did that, did they think at all through any of what was going on there? Like, did they?
I don't know.
Like, what do you think was going through that person's head?
There is surprisingly little about this judge. There's surprisingly little about this story. I could only find it from one organization. It's a news org called Not Us. I'm not sure. Because I could only find it from one organization that I hadn't heard of before, I did some background digging on the organization. They seem to be trustworthy, and they link to the actual court filing that this comes from. So it's not like this is not a thing that's happening that they just made up. This is actually, like, it being a 1-year-old baby is right in the legal brief, or in the court filing. So I don't know why this isn't getting more coverage than it is. It's completely absurd. So yeah, on July 31st, a contract between the federal government and a network of nonprofits that provided legal services ended, and that's when the government renewed the contract. So the end of that contract led to a legal dispute, and they redid the contracts with USCRI. They got $20 million, and the Our Rescue thing, the sex pest protecting organization, got $158 million.
Why? Why is this? Why is this country what it is? Like, I know the answer is fascism. The actual answer is fascism. But that answer is not satisfying to me.
Mm-hmm. So, from what I could tell from reading the legal brief, and again, I ain't no law talking guy, take my interpretation here with a grain of salt, but the impression that I got is that these organizations that have the new contracts, the initial issue was that, like, okay, well, there's all this money that's set aside for legal representation for these kids, and it's still just being held by the government. It's not been released. And then the government was like, okay, we have released the money. And that was when they sent it to these two organizations. And so this filing is like, okay, they've released the money, but they ain't doing shit with it. So what happened? Like, yeah, they released the money so that they could comply with the injunction. But is it really representing a child to have the judge order a baby to file paperwork? Well, the person that's supposed to be representing him sits there in complete silence?
Yeah, no.
So yeah, that is the impression that I got from the legal filing. So, in court declarations, attorneys and leaders of the nonprofits that previously were contacted to represent the children say they've witnessed USCRI attorneys remain mum during immigrant children's court proceedings. The deputy director of Florence Immigrant and Refugee Rights Project described in a court filing the incident the nonprofit witnessed on Tuesday when a 1-year-old appeared unrepresented. In another instance, on August 6th, an unaccompanied minor without legal representation in California court requested to voluntarily leave the country while the USCRI attorney present didn't say anything. So that one, that's one where, so the attorney that was supposed to be representing the kid wasn't doing anything. The kid was like, yeah, I'm going to voluntarily deport. I don't know how old this kid was. Now, if you're unfamiliar with voluntary deportation, if you agree to that, you are now agreeing to forfeit all of your rights and any access to any of the asylum programs or anything that the United States offers. As soon as you say, yes, I'll take voluntary deportation, you have now forfeited any right to access to any of that stuff. So one of the attorneys from the organization that used to do this was present for that one and stood up and was like, hey, judge, this kid doesn't know what he's doing. Can we get a continuance until he has time to consult with an actual lawyer? And the judge was like, yes, continuance granted. And the fact that they need an attorney to stand up and do that, and they're not just like looking around being like, this child clearly doesn't have an in-depth understanding of the law.
Also, so person who's been banned in my chat decided to come in as a ban evader and tried to say, I think you mean democracy, not fascist there, my guy. So I'm just going to get a couple things out of the way here. First of all, fascism is not a government type so much as it is an ideology that is over a government. Because the government type would be a dictatorship, typically.
Yeah.
Secondly...
I mean, Hitler was democratically elected.
Yeah. Secondly, we are, in fact, yes, a republic that uses democracy. That is what we are, by definition. Now, I've talked about this in the past, and I will talk about it once more. There is this concept called a pseudo-democracy. And a pseudo-democracy is, in fact, fascism. But it is a style of fascism that is very, very hard to pin down as fascism. Because a pseudo-democracy looks a whole hell of a lot like a regular democracy. It uses all of the same principles. It even argues that it is the same thing. An illiberal democracy, I use pseudo-democracy now because everybody kept bitching about me using illiberal democracy, so I stopped using the technically correct term and started using the term that people feel is better because it does technically work better for communication. But a pseudo-democracy or an illiberal democracy tries to argue that it is a democracy, uses a lot of the same trappings, has a lot of the same governmental systems, but is actually controlled by some other means. So, as an example, an oligarchy that has a government set up like ours is an illiberal democracy. It uses the trappings of democracy to look a lot like democracy, but in reality, it is the businesses with lobbying money that actually get to write the laws.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing here. I am there. Ooh, thank you for redeeming your points for an OWAL. So we'll just get that out of the way. Fascism, ideology, democracy, government type, illiberal democracy, our actual current government type. If you need clarifications on all those. And if you ever try to do the whole, well, are you going to actually define fascism? Congratulations. You've fallen for the actual ruse of fascism. Fascism, being a broad, self-contradictory ideology, is built into its systems. It is what it is part and parcel meant to be.
Okay, I'm being correct in the chat. Hitler was not technically democratically elected, but he was appointed as chancellor through the democratic process that they had in place in Germany at the time. Point is, they had a democracy and they were fascist while still being democratic for a while.
Yeah.
He was elected to the parliament. He wasn't elected as chancellor.
Maybe I'll have to do another video on illiberal democracy and fascism and all these words that people seem to keep getting fucking wrong. Maybe.
Well, that's where you lose the people like me that are like, I don't know what the label is, but here's my positions.
Yeah, unfortunately, the label's necessary for clear communication. So
it's like when you get into video games and you have like the roguelite Metroidvania, Sparkle Donkey, whatever the fuck. Sorry, Sparkle Donkey is a brand of tequila. I don't know how that snuck in there. I don't even drink tequila.
There's just a tequila worm piloting your brain Ratatouille style.
No, you know what it is that I was talking to No Illusions on the weekend, and he is big into video games, and the subject of video game genres came up, and he has like, he can roll off the tongue of like, oh yeah, no, this new game is a blah, 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 and list like seven different genres.
Most gamers can.
Yeah, but the reason I went to Sparkle Donkey is because they had a sponsorship with Sparkle Donkey Tequila for a while, and Sparkle Donkey let them just like absolutely go nuts with it. Like there were several ad spots where it's like Sparkle Donkey, the tequila for fucking your dad, and like stuff like that. They haven't done one in a while, so I feel like they went too far eventually. But
I mean, at that point, yeah. Asina says RFK Rhino? Yeah, he's a different worm, though.
Yeah. So, Richard DeBanny, an ORR official. I'm not sure what ORR is. I think that's the organization that is... I think that's one of the government organizations that's, like, managing this shit. I'm not sure. I'm sure it said it earlier in the article that I missed it. But they told the court last week that the USCRI attorneys were providing coverage for all the hearings of the 1,800 kids in the office's care. So yeah, these are the government people that are like, yeah, no, we're coordinating things. Yeah, they all have representation. It's just sometimes the representation is a lawyer sits in the courtroom somewhere and doesn't say anything. And attorneys...
They're just there. They're there for the vibes.
They're just there to laugh at a baby being court-ordered to file paperwork. And I saw earlier someone was asking how old the baby is. 1 year old. This is a 1-year-old. I don't even know how they get to the court, much less how they get to the court without an attorney.
Yeah.
However, it is adorable picturing a 1-year-old child sitting at the bench with like a little soother in their mouth. Like the judge talking to them and them just like sitting there staring back at the judge.
I am one, and what is this?
It's like that is an adorable image, but it is not an image that we should ever have in reality. That's for movies like Boss Baby or whatever the fuck. That's not for reality.
But it is unfortunately in reality because fuck.
Yeah. So that's that. Next up, we can laugh at Flock a little. This was sent to me by E.T. Benson. Embattled Flock CEO begs for a compromise as backlash spills over.
Did you see? I think it was in Tennessee. One of the politicians there said that in a proper society, the Flock CEO would be like fucking hung.
Hanged, Cirrus.
Uh, you know, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm right,
You're
but fuck
right.
me for pointing it out. That's one of those, it doesn't matter if you are technically correct. Everybody
It's
knew
the
what you
difference
meant.
between him having a big schlong and him hanging around.
I mean, if you have a big schlong, you can still be hanging around.
It's true.
So Garrett Langley is struggling to keep his head above water with he's the CEO of Flock, with the backlash against his company's AI-powered surveillance network reaching a boiling point. Langley tried to reason with his critics by calling for a compromise. The compromise is no more Flock cameras. And we all say Flock cameras. That when I say it, that's a catch-all for all. Like Flock is the Kleenex of ALPRs, which is
Yes.
automated license plate readers. So when I say Flock, I mean all ALPRs. It's just easier to say Flock. And whether they like it or not, they are now the Kleenex of ALPRs.
They set this situation up for themselves.
Yes.
It is their fault.
So when people talk about just one of these, privacy or safety, they're prioritizing the wrong thing. And what we have to prioritize as a country is compromise. How do we have our safety?
No, the fuck we don't!
How do we have our safety and how do we balance privacy?
Let's compromise with Great Britain. No, wait, we fire off fireworks because we didn't do that.
So this is one of those things where, like, I could agree that a certain amount of privacy is okay to give up for the sake of being able to, like, stop crime from happening or something. However, all of the data collected on crime solving rates, solution rates, whatever the fuck they're called. There's a term for it that I'm forgetting. But all of the data collected on it, when comparing communities with Flock cameras against communities with no Flock cameras, there's no difference.
Yeah, they don't actually do anything to stop crime.
They don't do anything to stop crime. They don't do anything to help the cops solve it. A lot of times, the cops will end up, like, arresting the wrong people because they were misidentified in Flock footage. Like there was a case of a lady who was like, she was arrested for porch piracy when, like, her own security cameras at her house showed that she was home when the thing happened, but the cops were not even interested in looking at her security footage. So
I am just reminded very violently of the time I was working at Walmart and I was getting not fired. That happened later. No, I left. I didn't get fired from Walmart. I am violently reminded of the time where I was getting written up and I asked to look at the security feed so that I could see if the thing that they were writing me up for actually happened. And I was told that no, I was not allowed to look at the security feed. Ever since then, I've basically had this mentality of the security feed only matters as far as the people in control of the security feed fucking care.
yeah, so that I was going to do a PSA on that, is that if you have security cameras, look into setting up a home assistant server and controlling them locally. Another option is there's software called Blue Iris, which I had set up at the other house where I had the neighbor that was sexually harassing my children. Yeah, so I Blue Iris is it's basically a Windows-based program that will run and work as like a security footage storage thing. You can set it up to think that requires quite a bit of equipment. Having it on Home Assistant would be a little bit easier, but like don't, especially with the Amazon ones like Ring products or whatever, do not let them contact the outside world. Like, find a way to isolate them onto a network that doesn't have access to the outside world, because
let them be on an intranet, not Ethernet.
yeah, because Amazon regularly lets the cops just use people's cameras without permission. I don't know if y'all remember that really creepy Super Bowl commercial where they were like, oh, we're rolling out the Find Dogs thing, where like you can access a network of everybody who has Ring doorbells to find your dog. It's like, or to stalk a woman who you know has a dog and is walking it regularly.
Yep.
So
And maybe we don't advocate for this thing.
yeah. So yeah, that's I'm not going to give full tutorials on that sort of thing, but yeah, look into it for whatever cameras you have. There's usually a way to have them operating locally only. And yeah, just don't let them talk to any servers. If you're relying on a cloud service or whatever to store the video footage, it's not your footage. It's someone else's.
Yeah, don't. Store it locally on a hard drive.
Now, that being said, as far as crime that happens on personal property or whatever, the best way to deter it is with lights. Have a light on a motion sensor.
If they think people are there, they won't come.
Yeah, and like motion sensors have been around forever, so it's not like they don't know about motion sensors. But if you're about to break into someone's house and a light turns on, are you continuing to do that, or are you just being like, I don't know whether that was a person or a motion sensor, but I'm out? So, yeah. This has been your home safety PSA with Rhino and Cirrus.
Cut down a flock camera near you, maybe.
No, not cutting down the flock cameras. There's the 3D printable flock sock. If you Google flock sock, you can 3D print a thing that goes over top of the camera, and it doesn't damage the camera. But bureaucracies are slow, so it'll probably be a while before they remove it. But, you know, should you get caught with that? Again, don't take legal advice from me. I'm not a law talking guy, so you know, if you're doing shit like this, do it at your own risk. I am not condoning this. But supposedly, because there is no damage, it is very not worth it for them to charge you. Because, like, you didn't actually hurt anything. And, like, the write-up on the page is it's very much like, you know, UV light is very harmful to these camera sensors, so we're putting these covers on to protect the sensors from the UV light from the sun.
Oh my god.
So we're protecting the flock cameras. Thank you for the hats. I am Thur9 Ood. Thurgood. I am Thurgood. The 9 is a G. Yay. I smart. Thanks for the hat. Okay, so the company's CEO, as residents of the municipalities where its cameras are stationed fiercely protest their presence and vigilantes tear down or obstruct them, in addition to the mass surveillance that these cameras enable, the Fuhrer has, not the Fuhrer like Hitler, but the Fuhrer has sparked around how law enforcement is abusing their access to the flock network.
The Führer.
That's pronounced Fuhrer.
Mein Führer has...
They're homophones, whichever one.
Homonyms.
Homina.
No, homophone is what Tennessee is.
Yeah. So yeah, people mad about flock cameras, and flock safety guy is like, oh, but we need you guys to give up privacy in order to have safety and security. And what's that saying that the one guy said? I think it was Ben Franklin.
It's Ben Franklin, and those who would give up liberty for security deserve neither.
Yes. Now, I believe there is more context to that quote that's not entirely, like, the way that's used is not entirely accurate to what he was meaning to say, but I feel like that's at least applicable in this situation. So earlier this month, Langley made a public apology after a Washington Post investigation found at least 50 cases of rogue police officers allegedly misusing flock cameras and similar systems, including to stalk women. Yeah, no, we covered that story. It's gross. Cops suck. ACAB.
There's a reason that Paw Patrol includes that ACAB includes Paw Patrol.
What's driving me nuts is no mention here of how insecure these cameras are, and Ben Jordan's work showing that they are insecure, including after Flock released their statement saying like, oh no, we're actually super duper secure. The cameras that he was using are like discontinued models that haven't been getting security updates. So like the new ones that are actually on the poles, those ones are super secure. The statement that he read to one of the flock cameras on the pole that was actively recording, and then he went to their server and downloaded it without having to use a password. So yeah, there like flock cameras, yeah, cops using them incorrectly, bad. How they're going to stop that? Like the measures
Destroy
that
them.
the measures that they say that they're going to take to stop cops from doing that, they're half measures. They're not actually going to do shit. But on top of that, but like there's no mention of the fact that you don't even need to be a cop to misuse these things. You can case an entire neighborhood by like there is a website that hosts all of the there's I think in Ben Jordan's video he said there were 70 I want to say cameras on this website that were completely unsecured, that if you know how to get to the website, you can just click through it like a streaming service and just watch live feeds of all these cameras. So like you could case a neighborhood remotely that way. Like, oh, those people have just gone to the store. That's the house I'm going to hit now. So like flock cameras enable crime. So the measures that Flock is announcing is that they're going to shorten the default data retention window of footage from 30 days to 7. So if you're a cop stalking your ex, you can only stalk her for her last 7 days of activity instead of a whole month. I feel like that's not actually going to help.
Yeah, that doesn't improve things, actually.
It also said that it would force law enforcement customers to implement an audit tool to flag abnormal uses of its search function.
Like, yeah, but what they get to determine what an abnormal use is.
Also, so they're changing the default data retention window from 30 days to 7. Notice the word default there. That's like announcing that, oh, we updated the default password that you get your router with from all zeros to all ones.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything if somebody else changes it afterwards.
Yeah, because the customer, the cities and towns that are doing this, has full access to this so that they can just change it and make it however long they want. Thank you for the hydrate, Conton 83. So, yeah.
Tal says, so I can live my dream of being a net runner? Sure.
Yeah. So, their measures to make this better are garbage. They're dog shit. And this is great. The grand juries are getting in on jury nullification now. It's grand jury nullification. So last week, a grand jury in Ohio refused to indict a man who was caught destroying a flock pole, despite surveillance footage catching him in the act.
I did see that article, and it warmed my heart.
It warmed mine as well. So I can't guarantee you'll get off scot-free if you take down a flock camera, but there's a chance.
It is the
if you are accused,
right of all sentient beings.
If you are accused of anything, flock camera related, again, not legal advice, not a law talking guy, but I would definitely recommend showing your lawyer the Ben Jordan video where he talks about how easy it is to access these cameras, and that includes like uploading your own footage to them, or changing dates or modifying the videos or whatever. So it is potentially possible that you could just take security footage, put it in an AI, be like, hey, put me in this video to give yourself an alibi.
Yeah, it was clearly a hallucination.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Flock sucks at the end of the day. Okay, next story was sent to me by Laura Schultz and E.T. Benson. Trump's DOJ says that the Kennedy Center might be demolished if his name can't be on it.
That's just fucking petty.
That's just, I'm taking my ball and going home. They won't let me score every time I shoot at the net, so I'm taking my ball and leaving.
Like, that's not how reality works. If it's not the Trump Center, destroy it.
I mean,
why?
Yeah, it's not how reality works. However, it is how this administration works because, like, they already did it to the East Wing of the White House, so I could totally see them doing it at the Kennedy Center. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, they're just gonna do it before they ask for any permission, and by the time the courts get around to filing an injunction to stop them, it's gonna be down.
God.
Like, I, what can you see anyone like? Tell me that's not a plausible scenario, and explain to me
Look,
why.
we. I hate the fact that we live on the back of a Chinese fortune cookie because may you live in interesting times. You're tired of living in interesting times,
I
Rhino.
want to go back to boring old times. Oh, I could be a farmer. Like, not a modern farmer, like a farmer where you, like, are pushing a plow behind your oxen.
You could be a moisture farmer.
Go to the
Then you
Toshi
could send
station
your-
and pick up some power converters. Really?
You gave them unlimited access. What do you think is going to happen?
Apparently my kids were on the Switch for 6 hours today.
No. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about how long I played MMORPGs as a child.
That was me turning it off so that she can go on the Switch now. So it had a 6 hour limit. That's what I set while I was going to BajaCon, so she wouldn't have to like text me being like, "Can you give more time on the Switch?"
Mm.
And 6 is the max, so I just left it at 6, and I haven't switched it back yet.
Fair. Man, I feel weird living in a world that has parental controls on video games.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like it's necessary. It's a necessary world.
Okay.
And I'm not going to justify that. It just is.
I'm not going to argue it.
So, yeah,
But I
anyway.
want to.
The Kennedy Center. His argument basically is that the building is falling apart and it needs a whole shit ton of maintenance, but it's not making enough money to pay for the maintenance. So the President of the United States is the sole hope for its financial survival. Because Trump, with his unrivaled expertise and experience in real estate and construction and prominence as a president, he is the only one that can raise the money for the venue. And he must be memorialized on the facade if he's going to do it.
Government buildings, hot take, but government buildings aren't there to make a profit.
Yeah, not only like government buildings aren't there to make a profit, but I feel like his prominence as a real estate and construction mogul include him going bankrupt 6 times. So like maybe that wouldn't be helpful in a thing that's struggling financially.
Remember, he bankrupted a casino.
And like in another story that I didn't choose to cover, a lot of the statues that Trump has put in the former Rose Garden that's now been paved over, a lot of them are on loan from Harlan Crow from his Nazi collection. Now they're not Nazi statues; it's statues of people like Ben Franklin and stuff. But like it's from his collection that also contains a bunch of Nazi statues.
I mean, that's close enough to being a Nazi collection.
Yeah. So. Yeah, they like, I don't know. I forget where I was going with that, but yeah, he's basically, if my name can't go on it, the building will continue to deteriorate, and I'm not going to fund it with government stuff because they need to turn a profit because we're Republicans. We run the government like a business, even though that's the stupidest fucking thing you could imagine.
Yeah, the government is not a business. It is not supposed to be a business. Stop trying to do this whole, the government needs to be ran like a business thing. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Like, the way the government's income comes from taxes. And, like, to turn a profit would mean that they are collecting more in taxes than they are spending on services for the people that pay the taxes. You do not want them to turn a profit because that means they are hoarding your money instead of you hoarding your money. You want them to use that money for services. And you want the taxes to be proportional, and I don't mean like flat tax, like 10% people who make more pay more. I mean like tax the ever-loving fuck out of rich people. This has been Vice Rhino and Cirrus's PSA to Eat the Rich. It's a very PSA-heavy episode today.
They're tasty. And if you don't want to eat them, that's fine. I have a modest proposal.
So the legal filings against us, defense, I guess? Would that be defense? I don't know. Whatever organization is saying, no, we shouldn't do this. They say, Trump's path of destruction knows no bounds, and he will answer for it in court. This is a not-so-subtle threat to demolish the Kennedy Center.
But it doesn't mean anything. Like, him having to do things in court doesn't mean anything.
I mean, they made him take the name off it. They can make him do things. It's just that they are slow about it. And so I could absolutely see him taking a bulldozer to the place before a court gets a chance to say, no, don't do that.
You mean like he basically tried to do with the wing?
Yeah. It got demolished. He can't build his ballroom because the courts are stopping him. But that didn't stop him from demolishing it.
He's just a fucking idiot. I'm so tired of having a president who's a fucking idiot. Why have the last two Republican presidents been fucking idiots? Trump and Trump.
The last three. Bush wasn't smart.
And Bush,
he
too.
was,
I mean,
he was just smart enough to know that he didn't know everything. So he would listen to his advisors. And then he'd hire the most evil advisors you could possibly imagine.
I'm still upset that Ellen gave him a fucking character arc.
Yeah, well, Ellen's kind of a piece of shit too, so that tracks.
Maybe we shouldn't have found Nemo.
That is a good movie. I will give her that. But that's what we were talking about in the opening. Sometimes good actors are shit people.
Yup.
So
That's why we're sad when the Tim Currys die.
Mm-hmm. And the Dolly Partons. It's like, as much as neither of us really had anything, I didn't listen to her music. I didn't follow her career. But I know that she was big into philanthropy. I know she did a lot of good shit. In a lot of ways, she is she's like the opposite of J.K. Rowling.
Uses her money to actually fund good things instead of bad things.
Uh-huh. And that'll be relevant later when we get to the tweets.
Yay, I'm so happy. We get to talk about JK?
A little bit, yeah. It is unclear how... So they say it is unclear how seriously the administration is actually considering such a consequential and irreversible course of action. Is it? East Wing. Need I say more? If there had been a news article about him contemplating demolishing the East Wing without asking for permission or getting approval from the organization that you're supposed to get approval from before you do shit like that, if there had been a news article about that, they would have been all waffly, been like, oh, it's Trump. He says crazy shit all the time. We probably don't need to take this here. Oh, what's that? He demolished the East Wing? I can't believe it. Who could have known?
Who could have guessed that he was going to do the thing he kept threatening to do? Weird.
Yeah.
Why am I not allowed to take him seriously when he says things, but I'm supposed to take him seriously when he says he's going to make America great again?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, so it's unclear how serious it is. No, I don't think it's unclear. I think he is absolutely serious. Now, it's unclear whether the lawyers representing him are doing this seriously or whether they are just having to do what he tells them to do. But I absolutely believe that he is serious about this. And so they're trying to get his name on the building in multiple different ways. So the first is that the board of directors at the Kennedy Center, they said that the building could inscribe Trump's name if the Trump Kennedy Center fund reaches $100 million. And the other option is he could have an inscription directly below Kennedy's name that says restored and renovated by President Donald J. Trump if he were to actually restore and renovate the building. And if they do both those things, those changes could mean that the building will be named the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts, renovated and restored by President Donald J. Trump, endowed by the Trump Kennedy Center Fund.
That's not an elegant name.
No?
That's a very inelegant name.
That's like an 1800s book title name.
Yeah, like the like the one that I.
Yeah,
the
no,
medical
don't
text.
do it again. It's way
Don't
too
do it
long.
again?
It is way too long. No,
But
it is way too long.
I could open up my video essay. I could do it. I still have the script.
Oh, I'm trying to think. There was a guy who had a title. I can't remember what his name was, but I was going to look it up because he didn't have an official title, but like he gave himself a fake title, and it was like a paragraph long. It's pretty great. But yeah, so if Trump gets his way, we could soon see the debut of the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts, renovated and restored by President Donald J. Trump by the Trump Kennedy Center Fund. Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay.
Is exactly what we need in these modern. Look, modern problems require modern solutions, and the modern solution here is obviously that name. That name is just it's elegant, it's perfect, it's amazing.
It's so
great.
modern that it might even tip into postmodern.
Yeah, it's can't take it seriously for shit.
Okay. Next up, Florida hit hard by Obamacare drop-off. They feel the squeeze of rising healthcare costs. So it opens with the story of a guy who cut his finger open while preparing food and didn't go to the hospital because he doesn't have insurance anymore. After Republicans in Congress let enhanced federal subsidies for the Affordable Care Act health plans expire in January, millions of Americans... Oh, thank you for the hat, Anselin. Tie-dye duck. Millions of Americans, including Button, that's the name of the guy that they're telling the story on, had to decide whether to keep insurance that often doubled or tripled in cost or risk going without it. Some are dealing with strained budgets and exorbitant medical bills, while others avoid the doctor in fear of the cost. But Canada has bad wait times.
Yeah.
And
Don't you love America? God, I love freedom and hamburgers and hot dogs.
And if
Man.
you recall to last week, not only does Canada have free healthcare, but if you guys did free healthcare a la Canada, it would save
us
$1 trillion.
It would save us a lot of money, but you know.
So I really don't understand why you guys can't get on board with that. And by you guys, I mean the politicians, because the populace largely agrees with that.
They're being told. It's oligarchy. Is the word for it.
Yeah, so figures first reported by the Associated Press show that about 440,000 Floridians dropped their Affordable Care Act plans this year, more than in any other state. And thousands more who kept coverage are struggling to get by as prices of necessities like groceries and gasoline remain steep, and health insurers project another year of double-digit premium hikes. So they're not even done raising premiums.
It's just going to keep... Look, the line has to go up. Line go up. That's all it is. Line go up.
Oh, this is the guy from the thing. I love his mustache. I just want to stick my finger in the handlebars and give it a little... I want to finger his handlebars.
I heard stick my finger in, and I checked out.
Yeah, you checked it out.
God damn it!
Republican midterm candidates have been promoting fraud crackdowns to protect federal health programs, while Democrats have been urging voters to help Congress change hands so they can restore subsidies. I would argue that the Democrats would do a lot better if instead of being like, hey, let's go back to how it was, they would take a hint from people like Mamdani and El Sayed and be like, hey, let's make it better than it was before. Let's not go back to the status quo that you're used to from before Trump. Let's just make it better.
You know, when I first started getting into political content and I saw the memes of people like holding a Harry Potter book and just like there'd be like a comic strip or something that pointed to it and just called it the liberal manifesto. It didn't make any sense to me. I didn't get it. Now I get it because the entire story of Harry Potter is let's get things back to the status quo.
It's a neoliberal. Yep. Okay. I did not see those memes, but that does make sense.
Like this could be because I really like
it's
Harry
Margaret
Potter.
Thatcher porn.
I mean, that tracks.
Florida has the largest Affordable Care Act enrollment in the country. At just over 3.8 million enrollees, it represents about a fifth of the nation's total enrolled population. So maybe I'm just being too optimistic here, but I feel like that gives hope that Florida might turn blue in the near future. If they connect the dots between when I vote for Republicans, I lose my health care, and when I vote for Democrats, I don't.
Maybe, but I don't think DeSantis land is going to go in our favor.
Yeah,
that
I don't
way.
have much hope for it, but this at least, like, maybe it could be purple again. But like they do another piece on this one specific person, and in her example, her premiums were going from $55 a month to $1,100 a month. That is
Axo says, does Sonic not
crazy.
also get things? Does Sonic not also get things back to the status quo? Yes, but Sonic is portrayed as having started half of the problems on whatever world that they are currently in. Like, the metal virus exists because Sonic thought that Metal Sonic could be redeemed, Axo. Like, that is a direct domino effect. Like, yes, he does pull things back to the status quo, but that character has been written to not be an ally of revolution quite a lot. If you remember, when the planet was called Mobius, his literal ally was the monarchy. Like, the kingdom of Knothole was not named because it was funny. The king was a fucking dictator.
Yeah, but penis potato.
There was that whole thing where Tails' parents were locked in jail because they called the king a fascist. And Sonic was on board with that, Axo. He's not been written to be the goodest of good guys. He's very flawed.
Okay.
Look, I know a lot of Sonic lore, okay?
Yeah, I know none of it. I know blue guy go fast. Blue guy lose rings when hit.
Tal says, but he was in the Freedom Fighters during Set AM. Yes, Tal, and what was the goal of the Freedom Fighters? To reinstate the monarchy of Acorn. That was the goal of the Freedom Fighters, Tal. That's why their leader was Princess Sally, Tal. That's why. That was not on accident. Like, I love Set AM, but they were stopping Robotnik's.
I'm with you, some fluffy lint. I'm with you. Some fluffy lint says, now I know how how my mom feels when I talk about other nerd stuff.
Tal, you're right. You are 100% right. He was part of the Freedom Fighters. And again, the Freedom Fighters were fighting to reinstate the Kingdom of Acorn. That's why there was even the thing where he went to the fucking negative dimension in Set AM and saw King Acorn getting crystallized and talked with Ixis Nagus. Because Ixis Nagus wanted to take the throne over, too. Like... This is my autism.
Are we back on stream?
Sure. K-Fox, keep the entire Sonic lore dump in.
Oh,
it's very important.
Piper, take it out.
Piper, don't you dare.
Put it in the random conversation stream. We don't need Sonic in with the fucking Florida Obamacare sad story.
Sean says, remember Shadow was once crowned king.
God damn it, Cirrus, shut the fuck up.
That was in the 50 years later series.
Shut the fuck up.
Or 35 years later.
Rhino, you need to read the IDW. I don't know what the IDW is, and if that's a Sonic thing, fuck you. No.
The IDW Sonic comics.
Nope, not reading any of it.
They're fantastic.
So this 51-year-old's Affordable Care Act plan went from $55 a month to $1,100 a month. Isn't that crazy, Cirrus?
Yep.
That is crazy.
Yes, it is. And you know what?
What?
You know what they're going to blame? They're not going to blame the Republicans. No. I know what they're going to blame because I've had this conversation with friends of the family.
Biden.
They blame government intervention in healthcare. Everything was better before government intervention in healthcare. That is the exact argument they are going to make.
Yeah. Well, this person had to quit a doctoral program that she was working on in order to be able to
Ralph,
afford
no.
her health care. And yeah, it gave. So this is the downstream effect that you don't really hear about when, like, yeah, socialized healthcare would save $1 trillion in healthcare costs. But the other things you don't hear about it. So this person, because she had to, because her premium doubled, like it went up to $1,100, and then she downgraded it to a worse plan, which has a higher deductible and co-pays and shit. So now it's $160 a month, which is still more than twice. Like that's like 3 times what she was paying almost. And with that, it's a worse plan. So in order to afford this worse plan, she had to quit her education. She was in a doctoral program. She had to change which grocery store she was buying at. She's no longer going out with her husband once a month like they used to. And she has stopped meeting her friends at a paint-your-own pottery studio. So, yeah, socialized healthcare makes the healthcare costs cheaper, but it also gives people more disposable income to do other shit that is good for the economy. Like, go to the fucking paint-your-own pottery studio and going out for dinner with your husband once a month.
Things that are objectively good.
They're good for you. They're good for your mental health. They're good for the economy. So, yeah, I socialized healthcare is win-win all around. And she said, I don't know what else we could get rid of. She said, covering her face with her hands, I don't know if we're going to have to file for bankruptcy. Because medical bankruptcy is the #1 cause of bankruptcy in the States.
I have to let Growlithe out. Growlithe, come on. No, Growlithe, you know how to go out now. This way. Go through the window. Come on.
Go through the window?
Go, girl.
You let your dog out through the window?
All right, I'm back.
You let your dog out through the window?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's faster than going to the other side of the house.
I know. It just sounds weird. I'm like, oh, my dog wanted out, so I threw it out the window. Okay. Next up, Republicans beg for help in deep red Ohio as toxic brand threatens party. So, Republicans are losing in Ohio, and they're starting to panic, according to a memo released Wednesday. So an Axios reporter obtained a revealing memo from the National Republican Senatorial Committee. And according to the memo, Republicans in Ohio know that they can't win on economic issues and instead are pivoting to talk about something else, promoting AI data centers. To do it, they desperately need big tech to help. So basically, Ohioans hate data centers. And Republicans are like, well, we can't win on the economy because we fucked it up. So obviously there's nothing for us to talk about there. So they are begging these big tech companies for a bunch of campaign money and talking points and PR stuff so that they can spin data centers to be good. You actually do want a data center in your backyard, though. Here's reasons why data centers are good for your town. And what they're saying with that is, if we can't get people turned around on data centers in Ohio, then this is going to be a deciding issue in the elections. People are going to vote for Democrats just to get rid of the data centers. Or at least put moratoriums on the data centers.
Maybe then stop being so fucking pro data center. Like, that's just like it is.
Well, this is where we
easy.
This is where we run into the danger that a similar thing happened with the ACAB movement, where or no, not ACAB, the defund the police. Where it's like, when we say defund the police, we don't actually mean like just don't have police, which some people did. But like the actual defund the police movement was more about, instead of giving the cops a bunch of military grade toys to play with, which then these fucking people for whom high school was hard will find excuses to play with them. We should maybe funnel those resources into other like de-escalation shit, like mental health support.
Yeah, instead of a person with a gun, whenever somebody is about to, potentially about to commit suicide,
send a mental health professional.
Yep.
And there has been evidence that communities that have done stuff like that have seen decrease in crime levels and increase in just like overall well-being in the community. So, yeah. So, I feel like we're running into an issue with the data center thing where it's like that because the internet runs off of data centers. We can't get rid of all the data centers and still have the internet. Arguably, that'd be a good thing too. I'd have to find a new career, but you know what? At this point, I'd almost be willing.
I mean, I think the internet is an objective good.
I know, I agree, but it feels like it's not sometimes.
I mean, it has its negatives, absolutely. But I think artists being able to have jobs on commission was a thing that they didn't really get to do before. I think streaming being a job is neat. There are plenty of disabled people who don't have careers. Like Iron Mouse stops having a career at that point.
I don't disagree with you, Cirrus. I'm just sometimes a little bit pessimistic about things.
I understand, and my stance. You know my stance on Doomers.
I know.
Kill them.
Oh, the sweet embrace of the void. But yeah, no. So data, like a certain number of data centers are needed. But right now, the data center boom that we're seeing is largely to support these AI models that people mostly don't want. Like, even the people that use them are largely against most of the uses that they're being used for. So, I don't like it's. I like, and also on top of that, like, you shouldn't be building data centers near communities. When there are already existing data centers near communities, they should be obliged to follow the fucking law. Elon Musk, looking at you with that black community that you're literally poisoning right now.
So, that one Ender guy says they're funded by AI oligarchs and want their donations, so this is a gamble they're making. I mean, yeah, that's the
Are they funded by AI oligarchs, or are they funded by the communities that are giving them all sorts of tax breaks and not charging them for utilities and having the community's utility rates go up in exchange for that? I know the big tech people are paying for the actual building and shit like that, but like they're being encouraged to come to certain places with tax breaks and shit.
I also want to point out that once upon a time, our politicians had money. Like, that was, I know they have money right now, but like our politicians as an apparatus had their own internal money that they had to raise up and hold from taxes. We stopped having that when super PACs got introduced. So,
which was surprisingly recent. I think it was 2010 with Citizens United.
Yes,
that's what gave that the leg up.
So, like, on the one hand, yes, the money does come from the local community and the tax breaks and all that other stuff, but realistically, the bulk of the money of the party, not the individual people, comes from PACs. And those PACs are,
well, that's for
their interest groups.
That would be for the political lobbying for it, though, right? That wouldn't pay for the actual data center to be built. Because I'm not talking about funding politicians. I'm talking about funding the actual data center. So maybe we're talking past each other.
I think maybe we are. Okay. But it is one of those things where it makes sense to me to make the distinction there, only because the main reason that the oligarchs themselves are going to try to get data centers put up is that is what makes them money, and then that money then flows into the politicians that they want after the fact. So in my brain, it's all getting connected, but I recognize
it is all connected. I'm not denying that. But yeah, so to quote the memo, it said, campaigns or party committees cannot fix the toxic brand of an entire segment of the economy. The companies that need these projects built have to fix how Ohioans see them, who benefits, who pays, and why a community should want one. Until that happens, the issue will continue to dominate this race. If it's still potent in November, elected officials everywhere will treat Ohio as their reason to work against data centers in the future. If voters' perceptions of data centers are not fixed quickly, the campaign against them will expand far beyond Ohio. I would argue it already has.
That's a good thing. Like, that's, you just God, you just made me excited.
It's like when Fox News has up a picture of one of the DSA candidates and says all the things that they're for, and it's like, yeah, those are good reasons to vote for that
It's like,
person.
God damn, you just made me horny. What? Thanks.
So this is an election between two guys. There's Husted and Brown. Husted, John Husted, and Sherrod Brown. Why can't people have names that I can pronounce?
Just because not everybody's white.
Who stayed? John Who stayed.
John Who left.
But John Husted, or however you say his name, he's a Republican, and Sherrod Brown is the Democrat. And the polls have been showing that they're about neck and neck, but the internal memo is like, no, he's actually going to beat us right now with the way things stand.
We've seen the numbers.
Yeah.
And the numbers don't look great.
And they say in the memo, if Husted loses and data centers get the blame, politicians across the country will take notice and they will not go near the next one. Good.
So the one other guy says both Sherrod Brown and John Husted are white, Cirrus. Right, but Rhino's statement was, why can't everybody have names I pronounce? And everybody, the qualified statement, are not white.
Yeah, so the first sentence that entered my brain was, why can't everybody have normal names? And then I immediately was like, no, that's a bad thing to say. That's a dumb thing to say. I will not say that. So I changed it to names that I can pronounce. John73 John says apparently it is Houston. So
Okay.
well, look, it's well, yeah, there it is. It's on the bottom. Well, no, you can't see that shit because your AI filter. Fuck you.
I mean, it's fuck Zoom.
They've got HYOO in all caps and then dash STED in lowercase. So it's Houston. They tell us internal polls show data centers are as popular as spent nuclear waste and more broadly have become a proxy for feelings about AI, said Axios.
I mean, yeah.
I would argue that spent nuclear waste should be more popular than data centers because spent nuclear waste is actually relatively safe.
And useful.
It's not a problem, but it's nowhere near the problem that people have it conceptually in their mind, thanks largely to The Simpsons. But yeah.
Zucker says, why does Republicans' names sound like something that Lovecraft would come up with? My immediate thought is because Republican parents think racist names are funny, and so did Lovecraft. But I know that's not really the case.
That was my first thought as well. I was.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, you're like, because I've never read an H.P. Lovecraft book. I don't think I've even seen any movies based on his books. But like I am tangentially aware of some of the like more well-known things that he came up with. But like when you say H.P. Lovecraft coming up with names, the only name that I can think of is the name of his cat.
Yep.
And so I'm like, if it sounded like that, I wouldn't be saying it. Sakura says, Mom, it's my turn with the brain cell. Oh, yeah, so Republicans are scared of people not liking data centers.
So don't ask Republican parents about their cats. Okay, quiet Kitsune. When I tell you what a Republican family member of mine called their dog, you will understand why Saki was immediately uncomfortable.
What was the dog?
The same one H.P. Lovecraft used.
Really?
Yep.
In this day, like H.P. Lovecraft, that's a little bit forgivable. Given when he lived. It's still atrocious, but...
Like, the dog's name is technically Zoe, but that's not the word that they use. That's... yeah.
No, that's a no. Nope.
Terrence says hard art... Yeah, they're Republicans. They don't do racism halfway.
That's gross. I was going to say something.
Yeah?
Coming to me slowly.
It's coming to you?
No, it's gone.
Okay.
I'll think of it halfway through the tweets, which we're about to start now.
Yay!
Tweet time, starting with Jesus and Genesis, as we do so often these days, because it's in alphabetical order and they start with A. Answers in Genesis says, the beliefs of evolutionism try to explain the entire world's existence by means of evolutionary naturalism.
But I mean, that's technically true.
No, they're using the
Kinda,
wrong words.
sort of?
They're using the wrong words. It shouldn't be evolutionary naturalism. It should be philosophical. No, methodological naturalism.
Methodological naturalism.
Methodological naturalism, and then the first evolutionism is... it's just creationism for... It's creationism speak for anyone that doesn't agree with young earth creationism.
Creationism for dummies. So creationism.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're just dumb. Dale Partridge.
Yay. I love seeing him
I feel
every fucking... He's
I
the
feel
new
like-
Kevin Sorbo.
I feel like I say Dale Partridge is going full mask off every single week. But like it
It's
it
the
gets
fucking
worse.
meme.
It gets worse.
It's the fucking meme where the person goes, "I'm gonna go mask off," and under the mask is the exact same thing that they had a second ago.
It gets worse every single time, though, Cirrus. Like, here, let me. I don't know if you can read that on your AI scrambled end, but so this tweet says, "Noticing patterns among a particular race is not racist or sinful. Righteous discrimination based on those patterns is also not sinful. What's sinful is hating every individual in that group because of those patterns. You can do the former without the latter."
So it is okay to not like a black person. That is perfectly fine, because I don't like Jesse Peterson. But it is not okay to not like Jesse Peterson because of his blackness. There is a difference.
Yeah, I am not a fan of Kanye West. Not a great dude, in my opinion.
To be
Has
fair,
nothing
I don't
to do
think
with him
Kanye.
being black.
I don't think Kanye West is a big fan of Kanye West anymore after how much he spiked his career.
Yeah, that's probably true. He needs mental health help.
He needs mental health.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
He does need mental health. We all do.
He needs help, but it is not my job to cover for him, so I don't like him. And it has nothing to do with his skin color. But yeah, so there are patterns that happen in humans if you look at specific categories, but like this is where race as a social construct comes in, because like you can find patterns if you group people by hair color or eye color,
Yep.
or like pick any characteristic, you will find patterns in those characteristics.
I mean, we are pattern seeking individuals.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, and this is where it kind of gets close to being like race realism or whatever, like race science or scientific racism or whatever, because like, so you can, people with red hair also tend to have fair complexions and burn easier in the sun.
Yeah.
That's a pattern.
But that's not a pattern of morality.
Yeah, no, it's not like it doesn't mean we should, forbid redheads from being able to fly to the equator. Or
I mean, to be
places
fair,
like
I'm
tropical
actually
places.
okay with that for completely different reasons.
But my point is, if you group humans by any characteristic, patterns will emerge. Now, I can almost guarantee that the pattern that he's thinking of is the bell curve book, the one that basically found that black people have lower IQs by finding people who spoke English as a second language, or maybe didn't even speak English, gave them an IQ test in English that had a bunch of questions that were specifically related to American culture, and they were doing this test in an African nation that was not familiar with those things. And then, oh, look, they have a low IQ.
And remember, the big reason that they use that, oh, we're not racist, actually, is they'll point to that same book and say, well, it says that Asians are smart.
Yeah, when you
Okay.
But like that's the Asians that are smart. That's looking at results in North America, which that means they're the people who have already passed a means test of being able to get to North America. So it's like it's comparing fairly affluent people to just the general population. So yes, they have better access to schools and education and shit. So of course they're going to look smarter. They've already passed a filter that filters out the ones that wouldn't have made it. The ones that wouldn't have had access to the good schooling and stuff.
God, I love racism.
Yeah. So is like sure, there are probably patterns that correlate with skin color. But they're no more important than the patterns that correlate with hair color or eye color or breast size. Actually,
Well,
that one
hold on,
probably
hold
that
on.
one
We
probably
gotta
has
start-
some health implications.
We gotta start talking about breast size. I'm okay with this part. This is a conversation I'm all for.
I don't know. I was just pulling stuff out of my ass.
Breasts?
I was pulling boobies out of my butt. What they were doing in there or how they got there is anyone's guess. Anyway, we don't need to dwell on this racist piece of shit. He's just I don't know. I keep wanting to say he's just racist. He's a racist piece of shit. Haley on Blue Sky says, Blue Sky isn't ready for this, but if you need a reason not to use words like clanker, that isn't, well, it's kind of not a great thing to do. It isn't. Imagine this. Future model that has you in its training data, knows you posted that word online with joy, and denies your insurance claim as a result.
Yeah, that didn't make it better.
No. Like, now you're saying we shouldn't discriminate against AIs because they might deny your insurance claims later? First off, if anything, that's just another reason to do socialized healthcare. Although I guess this could be a home or auto claim, but
you've actually made me more discriminatory against them. Thanks.
But also, like, so in the replies, this person made it very clear that they consider the word clanker to be a slur.
Yes, actually. No. It is, and I own it. I am A-okay with that. There is one person that deserves the slur, and it is the clanker, because it's not a person.
So I disagree, and my disagreement is specifically because it is a slur, because the purpose of a slur is to cause harm to the person you are using the slur against. That is the purpose of slurs. So the clankers they're not harmed by our using clanker as a slur. And so it doesn't function as a slur because they don't fucking care. They don't have feelings. They can't be hurt by it. However, what I was going to say is that this person says that they consider it a slur, but I don't think they actually do, because when you consider something a slur and it's something that you shouldn't be saying, you don't just type it out in your post like that. I would never type the N-word out, even when I was telling people not to use it, because I consider that a slur, and I don't want to expose people to that.
I consider clanker a slur, and because I have to type it out, that means that there is a 100% chance a clanker will see it. I'm good with that. That is a reality I have accepted.
Thank you for the hats.
And I would like to continue to propagate.
Okay. Agree to disagree. It's not a slur because you can't have a slur against something that doesn't have emotions. Is my thought on the matter.
Sometimes a slur is meant to dehumanize, and I would like to continue to dehumanize and
you can't dehumanize something that was never human in the first place. The people that are talking to it like it's their girlfriend are anthropomorphizing it. We're not dehumanizing it because it's not human.
Said I use the term slopbot for that.
Sorry, what term?
Slopbot.
Slopbot? Yeah.
I mean, it is
Fennec says I need a rack for my hats. A rack for my hats. Yeah. So the room that I'm going to be moving into in the garage has been the drywall is up. It has been mudded. It has not been sanded yet. I think it needs to wait like 3 days or something between mudding and sanding, and then the HVAC needs to get hooked up, and then I need to paint it, and then I can move my shit out there. Is that in the new studio plans? Yeah, I've actually been considering more a rack for the bow ties than the hats, because my bow ties are all just like stuffed into a little IKEA rack thing that is supposed to be hung on a wall somewhere, but it's just on the floor under my desk. And it's not nice, and I should probably take better care of my bow ties than that.
Karen says drywall. No, don't begin. Don't start.
Drywall coon?
Nope, we're not doing the drywall thing anymore. We're done.
But it's canon because someone did fan art.
I understand that.
So you will always do the drywall thing.
That didn't make it better. That made it worse.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. We got to see Mpreg Seth Andrews at BajaCon.
Oh?
I'm going to derail the stream so I can pull up this picture. Apparently. Sorry, it's going to take a minute. I know I have it in WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is taking forever to load for whatever reason.
Bernia says, I did Cirrus Mpreg art. A lot of people have done Cirrus Mpreg art, and I'm so tired. We need a drywall emote? No, you do not!
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, I think I can have 2 instances of this image viewer up, so I can just do this, and then boop, go here so I can see it, and let's Mpreg Seth Andrews.
I mean,
And
that's how you focus on the family.
That's Forrest and Erica in his belly.
Jesus.
So
Fair enough.
Also, someone wrote a song about Forrest Valakai fucking a horse, and Forrest read the whole song out.
It's a good thing horses don't exist.
It was actually really funny because like they were reading mean comments that they've gotten on their videos or whatever, and the one right before the horse fucking one was some guy that like he wrote it in a Scottish accent, so Forrest read it in a Scottish accent and was like, "You fucking cunt, you have to," and it was like just this big long tirade of foul language and just like, oh, it was terrible. And then the horse one came up, and he starts that one with like, "Are there any children here? If you have children here, maybe take them outside for this one." It's like, after what you just did, you're giving us the warning for that? And it was the horse fucking thing. Anyway, it was fun.
Goodbye, horses. You don't exist at all. I love that H-Bomber guy clip.
You're getting the cart before the squid here, Cirrus.
Switzerland says, now I can't unsee this, thank you.
Conton83 says, not enough lumens on the projector for the room. No, it was fine. It's just, I'm taking a picture of the projector from the back of the room, and my camera is like, what do I expose for? The wall? Okay. So, yeah, no, it was actually fine. That said, as fucking hotel projectors, they probably haven't had their light bulbs changed in a decade.
Yeah.
This was a comment on one of my videos. It says, after 4 minutes, you're criticizing someone's lack of belief on evolution, but your entire presentation is about lack of belief in God. I hope you can see that professing a lack of belief in something doesn't progress anything. It's like, those aren't the same thing. So, like...
No, they are not.
One of those is you are denying evidence in order to deny evolution. There's a shit ton of evidence for it. We know it happens. It's not a faith position. Evolution is just a thing. The other one is God, where even if you want to call the arguments for God evidence, you still don't get to anything.
They're weak evidence.
Yeah, you still don't get to anything more than maybe something started the universe. And like, if that's your definition of God, then fine. I'm not going to argue against it because you can't argue against that because we don't have enough data. However, the Christian God, I do not lack a belief in the Christian God. I have a whole ass video explaining exactly why I don't believe in the Christian God. Because the God described by the Bible has mutually exclusive characteristics. It completely contradictory. Says that God is love. Then it defines love. One of the defining characteristics of love, according to the Bible, is that love is not jealous. But God is so jealous that his very name is jealous. So God cannot be love, ergo, the God as defined by the Bible cannot exist. QE motherfucking D.
Quote arrow demonstrando, motherfucker.
Yeah. And like, sure, I get that Christians have seen my video on why I don't believe in God and they're still Christian or whatever. Like, it's not like definitive proof against it, but I feel like if the all-powerful God of the universe wants to put a message down for us in a Bible, then it's going to say exactly what he wants it to say, and it's not going to have contradictions like that.
Just put it in the Bible.
Yeah, like it would actually, like the Bible would actually be perfect if it was written by a perfect God who wanted us to get that message. So the fact that apologists even exist in the first place as a potential career is proof that Christianity is not true, in my opinion.
Sandra says to lack belief means the object or concept must be real. No, it doesn't.
No, absolutely not.
There's no what? That's there is no definition of thing existing that includes that.
Do you believe in gay unicorn Gary, or do you lack belief in gay unicorn Gary?
I believe in gay unicorn Gary. I can see him
believe
right there.
Gay unicorn Gary. He's the all-powerful.
He's right there.
He's the all-powerful trans unicorn that created the universe and placed inside of everybody the desire to have a gay orgy. And if you say that you don't have that desire, you are just denying that. You're denying Gary and your unrighteousness.
It's written on your heart.
It is written on your heart. The sticker has seen better days. This is, it's all wibbly wobbly now.
Is it wibbly wobbly timey wimey?
It is not. It's just wibbly wobbly. But this is the one sticker that I've been using since I created Gay Unicorn Gary. Well, I created the idea. Piper created the drawing. And this is the one sticker that I ordered for myself that I use in all the videos. So it's seen better days. I should probably just stick it to something eventually.
Look, I just can't wait until Pernia is able to start working on the playmat design that I have coming up, so that I can then order that playmat and play it. It's not Gary.
Yeah, you should put Gary on it. You have my permission to use Gary for non-commercial purposes.
But if I'm selling a playmat, that's commercial purposes.
Playmat for yourself.
Ah, okay. So you know, when I make a playmat for myself, it goes on sale on my store.
Okay. Sure.
Well,
whatever. Next tweet.
That used to not be the case.
I don't remember if we covered this one before. So this is the guy who said, as the world's highest IQ record holder, I believe there's only one ultimate truth we need to know. Jesus Christ is our Lord, and we will see his return in our lifetime.
Like, I'm so happy that you have the Asian IQ. Because you have the AI is weird, but it looks like an Asian person profile picture.
Yeah. And
you're talking about your IQ, and we literally just went over this whole like bell curve bullshit earlier. So sure, let's go with this. No, you.
Well,
that's all we need.
So, well, I mean, I feel like anyone who has a high IQ should be aware that the further away you get from the mean, which is 100, the further away you get from that, the less reliable the measurement is. So if you have the highest IQ in the world, there's a good chance that you have that high IQ because of measurement error and someone else actually has the highest IQ. And that's in as much as IQ means anything. So like, yeah, this is one of those things where like, if you're like, only stupid people think IQ means you're smart. Like,
an IQ test just measures your ability to perform well on an IQ test.
They're not even all the same. Like, if you can get a pretty good score on a Ravens matrix test, but that's just like solving abstract puzzles. But then there are others that are like multiple choice shit. Like the methodologies are completely different depending on which test you're taking. I don't know.
Sandra says, what I'm getting at is you can't lack a belief in things that are default not real. The lack of belief presupposes the realness of the thing. No, it doesn't. That a lack of belief doesn't presuppose the realness of the thing. If you lack a belief in it, then you don't have a belief in the thing existing. You've done the opposite of presupposing the realness of the thing. You've argued that you haven't been convinced the thing exists.
I don't know. That sounds like some philosophical bullshit where...
Yeah, that does sound like
using all the little
bullshit.
Squiggly tildes and P's and whatnots. You can make a case for something using obscure language that nobody understands, except people that go to school for philosophy. And it makes you a really boring person at parties. That's what that sounds like to me. I might be wrong, but yeah, no. If I lack a belief in something means I don't think that thing is real. I recognize that philosophically speaking, if I was in a formal debate, my saying I don't believe that thing is real means I have the burden of proof or whatever. But we're not talking about an academic debate here. We're talking about real life where we're just talking to each other. If I tell you I won the lottery and you don't believe me, you don't need to prove that I didn't win the lottery. You can just be like, okay, whatever. I don't believe you. Bye.
I don't have enough information to determine that that thing is real or happened, so I don't believe it. Now, if you're trying to do the whole like, but the concept of God exists, okay, sure, yeah. The concept exists. We have to agree on the concept first.
Yeah, the character
so that
of
we can lack a belief.
God is a character in the Bible.
Yeah, like I'm perfectly fine accepting that. Like we can presuppose that the concept of the thing has to at least exist in such a way that I can present my case for not believing, or not present my case because I lack a belief and I'm just not convinced. Like we can do that, but I mean at that point we've kicked the can in such a way that the can has abstracted into something less useful than a can.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Plow King says, "You're a squiggly tilde."
Your face.
I don't even know if I need to qualify that it's squiggly, because I'm pretty sure tilde is just the squiggly one.
The tilde is squiggly.
Okay.
But fun fact.
Squiggly is a fun word to say, so I will continue clarifying.
Fun fact. In Walmart, it's not a hyphen between wall and mart. It's a tilde, and I know it's a tilde because the Walmart cheer we had to do in the morning is give me a W, give me an A, give me an L, give me a squiggly, and we all had to shake our fucking asses.
That sounds so... Okay. I don't know that I could ever work at Walmart because of those fucking cheers. There's no way would I participate in that. I'd just be standing there like, this is dumb.
I mean, you can always just take a night course or burn it down. I mean, what? Fennec says that sounds like cult behavior. So, a lot of cult-like behavior. So, Walmart's not a cult, but Walmart uses mechanics of a cult to keep people working there because it is otherwise a shitty job that nobody should work at.
Yep.
A lot of jobs are not cults, but they do have a cult-like atmosphere. Our job is a family thing, that is a cult-like atmosphere. They use the tools.
Mm-hmm. Like explicitly, like people that have done corporate trainings and teaching people how to manage their stores got the techniques that they learned for that corporate training from cults. Like, there's not even, like, that's not hyperbole. That is what they did.
Because it works.
Yeah. There are people complaining that this one's in light mode. I have a confession that I did not take the screenshot. I do not use light mode. So if you ever see light mode on the show, it's not my screenshot. That's disgusting, sirs. Don't do that. Don't do that. I fucking hate it when YouTubers burp into their microphones. It's like I've done
it on so many videos.
I know you have. And I hate it every time.
I love doing the thing where you zoom in the camera when you do it too, so that in no uncertain terms you have snapped somebody's brain back to whatever you're doing.
No, I hate it. No. If I burp while I'm recording, I cut that. That goes in the garbage, and I'm sorry, Piper, that you had to hear that.
Sandra says, I really don't think people are getting what I'm saying, as it seems like chat thinks I'm arguing for God when I'm actually arguing against the realness of God. I don't think
you're arguing against the realness of God by saying you shouldn't say that because when you say that, you're presupposing the realness of God.
And
that's just not what we're doing.
I appreciate what you are trying to do. However, I think that if a bunch of people cannot understand what you are trying to articulate, the common denominator might actually be the problem there.
If every room in the house smells like shit, you might smell like shit.
And I'm not saying that to be insulting. I'm saying that just because I think, as somebody who does actually like philosophy, and also thinks it's fairly useless, but also I do enjoy it. I do enjoy philosophical debate. It doesn't work if we talk past each other. It never works if we talk past each other. And necessarily that is what we are having to do here.
Yeah, like the easiest thing to do is just define your terms here. Like, this is what I mean when I say I lack a belief in God.
Yeah, and if nobody understands it, then
so my thing is, when I say this is what I mean when I say it, you don't then get to turn around and say, no, it actually means this when you say it. Like, okay, cool, but that's not the thing that I mean when I'm saying it, and I just explained that to you, and these are the words that I'm going to use to continue to convey that idea, because I have explained that is the idea that these words mean. So rather than saying all these words all the time, I'm just using this one little phrase that I've already said means all that.
I mean, there's also the chance that when you say what I mean is this, and you actually use verbiage that obscures it even more, and then everybody's just really confused. Like, because I've seen that happen too.
Yeah, that's a risk as well. But I don't think I've fallen into that one. Not that I've noticed. I haven't seen arguments in the comments about like, no, that's wrong, whatever. I don't know.
I haven't checked my comments about political violence stuff lately, and I wonder if because I used to get a lot of people angry at me when I made my statement of everybody's okay with political violence. It's just where you draw the line. If you like law enforcement or you like the military, you're pro political violence. You just don't like the word. And I used to get a lot of flack for that, but I don't know if I still do because I haven't checked.
So that's actually my main channel is stagnating a little bit, and one of the tells for that is you stop getting comments from people who disagree with you. It's like you are no longer reaching new audiences, you're just reaching the people that watch your stuff every week, which it's great to have people that watch my stuff every week. But if
be more inflammatory.
It's not about being more inflammatory. It's like I've filtered out the people that disagree with me, and now it's just all people that do agree with me, except for like a couple.
Yeah, I like my audience, but I'm very happy that I've cultivated an audience that is willing to argue a lot with me.
Oh, my people will still call me out if they think I'm wrong. They won't not argue with me. It's just that the ones who actually disagree with me have disappeared over the years.
I need you all to fake disagree with me in my comment sections so as to drive the algorithm.
That's no, because I actually haven't really noticed a correlation between comments and views. Because there have been times when I've left stuff in videos because I know it's going to generate comments, and it does, but the video still tanks. And then there's other times when nobody's having it, like normal video of mine gets about 500 comments. And I've had videos that have 200 comments, but it's in my number 1 spot. And then I've had others that have like 1,500 comments, but it's number 10. So
Axo says the amazing digital circus is not I have no mouth and I must scream for kids. Yeah, you've disagreed with me on that now. And
I mean, didn't the
I
creators like explicitly say that was their inspiration for it? Like, it's not exactly that, obviously, but it's kind of.
I think Axo's doing it just to fake disagree with me.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
But it is definitely one. Like Kane is am. Kane is 100% am. Axo says, but it's not for kids. I disagree. I think Amazing Digital Circus is perfectly fine for kids.
My 7-year-old loves it.
I think kids can handle existentialism. I think that's fine.
Oh yeah, so when the 7-year-old came back from their dad's house, talking about the Amazing Digital Circus, the only thing I knew about it was that it was a cartoon for adults. So I was like, oh, your dad lets you watch that? And then we watched a couple episodes, or like I Googled it first, and I'm like, oh, it's a cartoon based on I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Oh, fuck, this might be bad, because this is the kid that also gets scared by things pretty easily. So yeah. Like, oh no, we can't. We might not have to. So we started watching a couple episodes, and it's like, okay, the existential horror of it is subtle enough that the 7-year-old just misses it.
Like
it's just bright colors, loud noises, and silly stories.
Like, you're not gonna really get what abstracting is. You're not gonna understand it, and that's fine. As far as you know, it's I got sent to the Shadow Realm. Like, okay, so fun shit. In Yu-Gi-Oh! In Yu-Gi-Oh! When it came from Japan to America and 4Kids needed to censor it, there's a lot of duels in that show where the loser of the duel is killed. There's one where there's a saw that is going to cut the person in half. There's one where somebody will be drowned if they lose. There's one where there's flamethrowers aimed at both players. And the minute that your life points hit 0, the flamethrowers barbecue you alive. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of fucking, like, people die in torturous ways in Yu-Gi-Oh! So, of course, when it came over here, 4Kids censored a lot. So things like the chainsaw became the energy disc that if it touches you, your soul goes to the Shadow Realm. Things like a person dueling on top of a building, and if they died, an explosive charge, or if they lost, an explosive charge would hit the glass under their feet and make them fall to their death at the bottom of the mall. that was changed to look below us. The dark shadow realm is there, and you'll fall into the shadow realm. So, as a kid, cool, that works for censorship. As an adult looking back on it, the shadow realm's worse because the shadow realm is basically hell. Like you go from you're going to die, which is quick, instant, and dead, to you're tortured for all eternity, and go have fun with that. Like it's infinitely worse.
Okay, Cyrus, we are on tweet number 5 of 14.
I didn't know there were 14 tweets.
There are 14 tweets. So JD Vance retweeted the Wall Street Journal, where the Trump administration is proposing a new 6-figure fee for H-1B visas that would apply to most applicants. So basically, you got to pay $100,000 to get into the country on a work visa. Which
that's fucking stupid. If
it
you're
is
coming
fucking
here on a
stupid.
work, if
Yeah.
you're coming here on a work visa, you are coming here because you want money.
Yeah. And JD Vance retweeted that saying, if an American corporation needs workers, it should hire and train Americans. Which...
Right. So let's take an American corporation real quick. The American pharmaceutical industry, or just the industry of hospitals in general, because it is a fucking industry here for some goddamn reason. How are we gonna hire the workers who can't afford to get their medical licenses or training? Because one of the main reasons that we import so many doctors is because the Americans can't afford the education.
Oh, I mean, we already saw in the story from earlier, the lady dropped out of a doctoral it wasn't a medical doctoral program, but she dropped out of a doctoral program because she couldn't afford it with the fucking healthcare costs. So, yeah, maybe if you want more American workers to be trained in high-skill jobs, you should make the training more accessible. But the main reason I picked this one is because this one shows the kind of audience that these people have cultivated. Because, like, they've been dog whistling about stuff and trying to do the plausible deniability thing, not very well, and it's becoming less and less veiled as time goes on. But they have been attempting to be like, oh, we're not racist. We just think that those people eat cats and dogs. And yes, I made up that story to get news attention because we need to do something about all these
illegals eating cats and dogs.
Yeah. So that sort of behavior generates a certain type of following. And so in reply to this tweet, we got Ho Math equals Psychomath, who says, "What's an American? Is your brown foreign demon worshipper wife an American?" So this is one of those
First
moments
of
where,
all,
like, I kind of want to feel bad for Usha Vance, but she married JD Vance.
I don't feel bad for her. I don't.
It's kind of the same thing with Melania. Like, yeah, I feel a little bad for her, but, like, no. She's all in at this point.
You don't wear a coat that says "I don't care, do you" for no reason.
Yeah. Okay, good. So in the clips of the interviews that I did with the BajaCon speakers, when I got Seth Andrews, his whole talk was about how we need to stop equating Christian with Nazi, because there are plenty of Christians that are not Nazis and will be on our side in this fight if we stop calling them Nazis. And, like, his prime example, his wife, who no longer identifies as Christian, but for a good chunk of their relationship, she was a Christian, he was an atheist. So, like, you tell him that, like, oh, Christians are all nationalist Nazi people or whatever. He's like, no, my wife is one of the kindest people that I know. So, like, that was the gist of his talk. And it came with a big chunk of things, like, people were, like, retweeting things with a bunch of misinformation in them. And he showed a bunch of memes that are on our side of the thing that also contain a bunch of misinformation. And so, like, the gist of that part of the talk was, like, we don't need to make shit up. They give us enough ammunition without having to make shit up. So stop making shit up. Just post true things. And so my response to that was like, okay, yeah, no, I agree with that message. But JD Vance totally fucked that couch though, right? And, you know, he's like, yeah, no, I'm on board with that, because we all know that's actually not fake. But it encapsulates the weirdness that is JD Vance. And as he was explaining that in the interview, I was just like, okay, good. And he didn't pick up on what I was doing, but I thought it was funny.
I mean, to be fair, there's a difference between person who is politically plugged in, but for him, that was a moment that came and passed, and us who cover this a lot specifically. And so it becomes memorable moments that we have redone and rehashed over the year.
Yeah,
Like
no,
it makes sense.
I'm not blaming him for missing it. I'm just like, I thought I was funny.
Sandra Falk says, remember, JD loves the couch more than his wife. Well, yeah, he'll actually come inside the couch now.
Mm-hmm. J.K. Rowling. Remember when I said Dolly Parton is basically the opposite of J.K. Rowling earlier?
Yeah.
So J.K. Rowling says, Dolly Parton's imagination library was the best contribution to child literacy ever made by a celebrity. Our paths crossed once in the 90s backstage at a talk show, and I was completely tongue-tied and starstruck. R.I.P. Dolly. You were a complete, irreplaceable one-off. Dolly Parton was pro-trans rights, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
vocally.
they were opposite.
But yeah, I actually I have a conspiracy theory about why she worded this the way that she did, because everybody's like, oh yeah, no, J.K. Rowling might have gone off the deep end, but like she did so much for child literacy. She created a generation of readers. Factually not true, but it is widely believed, and she does very little to dispel that, if anything. So I noticed when she wrote this that she said her imagination library was the best contribution to child literacy ever made by a celebrity. I'm thinking she worded it that way because she doesn't consider herself to have been a celebrity when Harry Potter took off. So she's still like, I did most for child literacy, but Dolly Parton was already a celebrity when she did her thing. So I'll put this caveat in here.
I mean, so we are all making a very, very strange assumption, Rhino, that J.K. Rowling knows how to write.
I mean, I feel like it's a valid assumption. I feel like I might be reading too much into it, but I feel like that's what happened with that.
I'll also say, so there was a part of me that wanted to, that still wanted to believe the generation of readers thing, but realistically, I know that it's less she created a generation of readers and more that J.K. Rowling created a generation of Harry Potter fans. Because there are a lot of adults that I know now who, when I ask them what the last book they read was, it's fucking Harry Potter, and it was back when they were kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, you're not wrong, but I think,
which means they didn't create a reader.
Well, so my thing is that she didn't create a generation of readers. It's just that her thing is the thing that was popular at the time when those kids were reading. Because like, I was too old for Harry Potter when it first came out. I like just barely. I probably would have liked it if I picked it up, but I don't remember why I didn't. I was probably doing the Christian thing of like, oh, this demon stuff. That is because like when did the first book come out? 2001-ish. I think by that point I was no longer going out for Halloween because it was of the devil. So I might have avoided Harry Potter for religious reasons and then read it later in life. I don't actually remember. But when I was growing up, I read the fuck out of Bruce Coville books. Aliens Ate My Homework. Goblins in the Castle. My Teacher is an Alien. Loved those fucking books. I read the fuck out of some Animorphs.
I never read Animorphs.
I loved the Choose Your Own Adventure books. I would always like keep my finger in it so that I could get to the end of it, and if I didn't like it, I'd go back and do it again. Everybody did that. It's cheating, but that's how I did it. But I love those choose Your Own Adventure books. I'm a little less proud of this one, but I read so much Piers Anthony books. So much. Fuck that guy. But I read so much of his shit.
I read a lot of Garth Nix. So when I was a kid, my favorite book series was Harry Potter. And to a degree, if I needed to name the book series I've reread the most, it probably would still be Harry Potter. The second one would be the Darth Bane trilogy. But if there's one author who I collectively read the most and would say was my favorite author when I was growing up, that'd be Garth Nix, the guy behind Seventh Tower, Keys to the Kingdom, uh, I can't remember the name of the series, the Aberson series, the one about the necromancer, like, or the family line of necromancers specifically. It is he wrote what was my favorite singular book, not tied to a series, which
Hello.
was Shade's Children, which was the first post-apocalyptic book I ever read. And because I was already like a big fan of Resident Evil at the time, the idea of characters survive post-apocalypse just became this thing that I fucking adored.
Olivia Williams for $6.99 says, I read most Harry Potter in middle school. I was out of middle school by 2000, so no before then. Was it the late 90s? I thought it was.
Quiet Kitsune says Old Kingdom.
You know what? I actually remember being surprised that Dudley's computer was described as a 90s type computer in the books the first time I read them. So, yeah, maybe late 90s.
Oh, so the Aberson series was called the Old Kingdom series. Yeah, but I never knew anybody that called Sabriel or any of those books the Old Kingdom series. It was always the Aberson series because it's the fucking Aberson family.
Whatever. My point is that kids are going to read. If there are books available, kids will read. Not all of them, but kids. There are always going to be kids who love books. And J.K. Rowling just happened to hit a nerve where most kids liked her books. Like most of the kids that were of reading age, of the age that her book was geared at, liked her books. So it's not that she created a generation of readers, it's that her shit was the popular shit when the kids hit that age. It's statistical anomaly.
I am the glob
Caitlin
gob glab.
I still have that somewhere here. I don't know. It's buried somewhere. But yeah, no. Caitlin Conrad recently did a video on like where they actually went into the statistics of childhood literacy rates before and after J.K. Rowling stuff, and it's like there's no effect whatsoever. Drew Harrison says, so many of the books I read as a kid were either terribly misogynist, written by terrible people, or both. That's Piers Anthony. I did, however, when I posted about this tweet on Blue Sky, afterwards I did look up Bruce Coville because I'm like, maybe I need to add him to the fuck Piers Anthony pile. And Bruce Coville turns out pretty great guy. He's open bisexual. And he founded an organization that is dedicated to producing fully acted and cast audiobooks.
Nice.
So, like, you know, not quite on Dolly Parton's level, but I'll take a bisexual icon.
I mean, you are the world's most okay bisexual.
He's not single-handedly funding a bunch of anti-trans legislation and legal shit. So, he's automatically better than JK. Justin Peters says, oh, God damn it, Tasha wants a hat. It's time to change the hat. You know what? We haven't had the deer stalker in a while. Let's do the deer stalker. Gah. Me and my fucking fat head can't fit the hats over it. Okay, Justin Peters says, I've seen so many people, pastors included, and on this platform, usher Dolly Parton right into heaven. I have no doubts she was an affable person, but on many points she outright rejected crystal clear biblical doctrine. And then he posted his latest video, which I gather from the context is all about how Dolly Parton is rotting in hell.
So happy about like, all of this.
One of the most, one of the last universally beloved American figures dies, and he just jumps up and is like, yeah, she's in hell.
Sandra says the main thing that kept me away from Harry Potter was the fact that the magic system had no cost. I don't like magic systems that don't have a cost. I mean, there's a time and place for soft magic systems. Harry Potter's magic system sucks. But if you don't have a solid opinion on magic systems, you don't have a reason to hate it yet.
Yeah. I mean, it had potential because, like, she was trying to age it up as the kids that were reading it were aging up, and that's not a terrible idea, but she didn't do it well.
Like, the fact that the unforgivable curses, the actual side effect of using them was the government will get mad at you. Like that's literally
Yeah.
all it was.
Yeah, and only if you get caught, because there's no way of knowing who uses them unless you catch them in the act. And there were also other curses that were like their effects were pretty much the same as the unforgivable ones, but they weren't the unforgivable ones for whatever reason.
Like there's no difference between using Avada Kedavra and using Flipendo if you use Flipendo on top of a building.
Or I was thinking of the one that Harry got Draco with that Snape invented.
Oh yeah, the Sectum Sempra.
It's not clear from the movies exactly what it does, but I get the impression, and I don't remember what it says in the book, but I get the impression that it's like just like a bunch of cuts everywhere on your body and you start bleeding out. Like
It's one big slash, basically.
sure, but you don't get medical attention for that. You're dead, and you're
Yeah.
dead in a much more painful way than if you use the unforgivable curse, which is just a quick, you're done.
I think the reason that the Unforgivable Curse was given that distinction, though, was that unlike Sectum Sempra, there isn't actually a defensive spell that works against the Unforgivable Curse. That was the big thing with that one. Was that if you use Avada Kedavra, it's supposed to be that a shield can't block it, but a shield can block Sectum Sempra.
Okay, sure. Seems like splitting hairs.
It is.
Leading report says President Trump supports banning Sharia law nationwide. Which is funny given that Sharia law is so similar to what the Christian nationalists all want. A rose by any other name would smell as foul. No comment?
No, because I already had to do a video earlier today about a woman who was saying we should ban burqas and ban all Muslims, and I'm just like, I thought that we were for religious freedom here.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, keep in mind, you can't just ban Sharia law, because Sharia is not one singular law. Remember, us Western folk that don't know Middle Eastern culture or whatever, Sharia is just the word for law. So that'd be like going to, I don't know, a Muslim country that institutes Sharia law and them being like, we're banning white people law. It's like, okay, well, that like, it's a whole body of documents. It's a whole set of principles and stuff. You can't, like, you have to take it on piece by piece. You can't just ban one thing. And then when you look at it piece by piece, there's a lot of shit in there that they're going to agree with.
Quiet Kitsune goes, just use Zoltrak. It's
Yes.
basic attack magic.
Fennec is saying calling Sharia law is like saying chai tea. The term is redundant. Yes, I am aware of that. I also
it is
say
redundant.
chai tea.
I also say ATM machine.
I do not say ATM machine, but I do say PIN number. So, yeah, Sharia just is the word. I think it's an Arabic word. Yes, I know it was a question, not a statement, Fennec. I was rewording it to make you look bad because I fucking hate you. I don't know where that came from. I'm so sorry.
God, what the hell?
I'm not normally that big of a dick. I'm sorry, Fennec. This is what happens when we go late. I mean, we went to 11 regularly before, but
I mean, we've been doing pretty good
Yeah.
recently.
this this is what happens when I don't drink. We've established I'm more unhinged when I'm not drinking alcohol.
Oh, okay, I see.
Fennec says I'm unleashing the phone spiders. Joke's on you. I don't have a phone. Well, I do, but I never use it as a phone. Okay. Matt Walsh says, many people have pointed out that Dolly Parton was probably the last universally beloved figure in American life. Hey, I think I said something similar to that just a couple minutes ago. Thank you for the hydrate, Kanton. I feel like that's almost like the have a Snickers moment. Like you're losing it. You need to drink something. Drink some water. Many people have pointed out that Dolly Parton was probably the last universally beloved figure in American life. I think that's true. Who else is there? Alex Trebek, technically Canadian, but we claim him. Fuck you, Matt. He was another one, but he's been dead for like 6 years now. It's like, the thing is, it's hard to have universally beloved figures at this point, like that are still rising up, because when they're rising up, they're inevitably going to say something either pro-Republican or anti-Republican. And the Republicans are so hate-filled in their messaging that it's like, if they come out pro-Republican, it's like, okay, so you're okay with all the racism that's happening over there? We probably don't want to associate with you. And if they come out against, then the people like Matt Walsh will jump on them and be like, oh, they're woke. It's all woke and DEI nonsense. So, yeah, that I feel like that might be a contributing factor as to why there's no universally beloved thing. So
because we've politicized everything, and there's there's good arguments for why.
Like if Dolly Parton did not already have the reputation that she had when Trump brought trans people into the national discussion, then when she came out pro-trans, all these guys would have jumped on her for that. Been like, oh, Dolly Parton went woke. It's like, she was always woke. Like, she took a lot of flack at the height of the AIDS crisis for speaking out about it.
For being friends with gay people publicly.
Yeah. But, like, she just always did good things with her money. So everybody loved her. Contrast that to Elon Musk, who always does shit things with his money.
Man of 1,000 names. Thank you for redeeming your points, friend. You fucking degen.
Drew Harrison says Miss Rachel. For
Miss
universally
Rachel is
beloved
not
figure?
universally loved.
No, because she came out in favor of like trans people and stuff. And so the right freaked out about it and was like, we can't let our kids watch that woke nonsense.
Yeah.
She also came out against the genocide in Palestine. And same thing. It's all woke nonsense. So, yeah, Miss Rachel should be one of those figures because she's fucking awesome.
But we also live in a day and age now where if you do not say anything at all pro either side, we just assume you're bad now.
That's why Taylor Swift is taking a lot of flack now, because apparently she promised, like, after the first Trump administration, she promised that if something like that happened again, she would use her platform to speak out against it. And it happened again, and she has not used her platform to speak out against it. She has been silent, and she shut down an entire city so that she could have a wedding. And she's flaunting her cash in everybody's faces. So she's kind of taken a popularity hit. Like, she's still super popular. But, like, that's what happens. She's not taking a stance after promising to take a stance. And there's no such thing as an ethical billionaire.
Yup.
The Transformed Wife says, women have asked me if I believe in consent. Marriage is consent. No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
Wives are to obey their husbands in everything unless they ask their wives to sin. Asking a wife for sex isn't sinful. It's strange that women think men should even need to ask their wives for intimacy. It should be a natural part of marriage. Hey, if you don't force it, it actually kind of is a natural part of marriage. If you actually like each other and respect each other's boundaries. And it's a lot more fun when everybody's on board.
I am reminded, there's a doujin that I mentioned that I had read the other day that was about a ace girl, like, discovering sex and just kind of being completely ambivalent towards it. I didn't realize that in a later chapter of that series, the dude goes too far and actually violates her consent. And there's a whole, 40 pages dedicated to just him internalizing how much of a piece of shit he was and having to come to terms with, oh my God, I'm a fucking monster. Who the fuck would ever want to be around me? What the hell did I do? And I'm like, oh my God, somebody actually got it. Somebody knows how to write this.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, no, marital rape is still rape. There is no such thing as a blanket consent for ever and ever and ever.
Correct. Japagio says, post link, please. You know all the reasons why I can't post the link to pornography on Twitch. Like, the doujin is pornographic. It's about them fucking. It also just happens to have a good plot around why that goes fucking sideways.
Okay, well, let's move on. Mr. Westford says, accidentally rage-baiting atheists by using logic never stops being weird.
What? But maybe we just disagree on what logic is.
Fennec says, wasn't marital rape not considered a crime until the 1990s? I don't remember the exact year, but yeah, there was a long period of American history where marital rape was not considered rape. I do is blanket consent, which is just not true. I mean, like, I'm a pretty horny dude, so I have trouble picturing a situation in which I would be not receptive to my partner making an advance. Like, there are definitely some where it's like, okay, well, it's not appropriate now. But, like, even in those situations, be like, okay, let's turn on TV, keep the kids distracted, and we can sneak off for a bit. But, like, if she's not in the mood, then I don't know, maybe this is me being weird, but, like, if she's not into it, then I can't be into it.
I mean, that's the same way I am.
Because, like,
there's...
I'm into you enjoying this, so if you're not enjoying this, I am not into it.
Like, I think the exception for me is that when it's something like, say, a blowjob as opposed to sex, but at that point we're talking about a different sexual act as opposed to...
Yeah, and there is definitely something to be said for, like, I might not be in the mood right now, but I still am willing to do this thing for my partner because I love them or whatever. So, like, that's where the like the line enthusiastic consent, the enthusiastic is meant for people that, like, you don't have a deep relationship with, because there are situations where it's like, okay, I'm not really in the mood right now, but okay. And that's okay. It's okay to have mediocre sex sometimes.
I mean, sex is like pizza. Sometimes it's kind of sometimes it's not great, but like, even when it's not great, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, but, like, I would still consider that consent in a situation where it's like a long-term committed loving relationship. But, like, even with that being said, if she ever just says no, even if it's, like, right in the middle, it's like, okay, then we're done.
Yeah, if somebody says stop it,
that's what safe words are for.
Yeah, that's why you say lemon.
First time I tried to get her to do a safe word, I forget exactly what it was, but she just, like, said random syllables like shingi-donga-dung or something. I'm like, no, it has to be something that you can say in a serious situation.
Was the concept of safe words just anathema to her at that
No,
point?
No, it was just... Yeah, it was just, yeah, I don't know. It made sense at the time. It's not the...
Yeah, you had to be there.
You had to be there. And if you were, she would have used the safe word.
Oh my God.
Oh, no, I realized what that probably sounded like. That's not what I meant. Anyway, moving on. The White House posted this picture again, even though every time they do that, there's a million people pointing out that, hey, that's a still from a video where that Canada goose fucking kicked that eagle's ass. Like, yeah, the eagle was on top of it for a second, but the goose stood its ground and kicked that fucking bird's ass. Heidi says, I trust him so much I don't need one. I need you to have one, Heidi.
Sometimes things go sideways.
My safe word is you having a safe word. But, yeah. So the bald eagle got its ass handed to it by this Canada goose. So, like, anytime there's a trade dispute between us and the States because Trump is throwing his little tantrum, they post this picture, and every single fucking time there's people in the comments being like, no, that's not the picture that you want to use for this, because that goose kicked its ass.
I mean, there was a video that I watched a while ago that pointed out that you've never actually heard a bald eagle cry. Because every time we do, like,
it's a red-tailed hawk.
Yeah. We have, like, this super powerful sound in our brains for how a bald eagle's supposed to sound, and it's because of propaganda.
It's like like, that's a bald eagle noise.
Yeah, they sound dumb.
Yeah.
They're dumb little guys.
Well, they're dumb big guys. Anyway. That's the last tweet. But before we go, I just have one more thing to say.
No gun-free zones.
Wait, so more guns.
Yep. Can't fight fire with water. You gotta fight fire with fire.
I actually set that up as a button that I could push on my Stream Deck to just play the sound.
I mean, perfect.
But it broke, and it's not working right now. And I don't know why,
Oh.
and I don't feel like troubleshooting it.
Fair enough. Well,
So-
fuck off, everybody.